And good afternoon on this Saturday morning from Cairo. We have left Copenhagen and we go back to Egypt to meet the great Egyptian Helden baritone, Ahmed Shiemy. Ahmed comes from a family of theatrical and film practitioners. Shiemy's passion for the stage grew from an early age. His love for the spoken word and song became a true calling, which has seen him work on radio for the past 20 years plus and also create a vast career as an opera singer at the Cairo Opera House. Ahmed studied in the vocal studio of the Russian Cultural Center in Cairo with the Russian soprano Oksana Ruenko, baritone Raouf Zaidane, Acapella choir leader Maya Gineviera SpranoEman Mustafa, and also studied with Tenor Sobhi Bedair, bass Mohamed Abdelkader, took master classes in opera singing with the Austrian Soprano Malgozata Miercek, the German Mozarteum professor Ingrid Kremling, Danish soprano Dani Olinkiari, Japanese singer Mitsumo Moteki, the tenor Jorma Silvasti, who named Ahmed as a dramatic or a Helden baritone. So there's a lot to talk about. You also worked with French soprano Caroline Dumas, participated in singing festivals held in Poland and in four other countries, Czech Republic, Germany, Russia, and took special prize for performing in Gonound's Faust. So let's talk to Ahmed, who also performed roles in Uberto, La Serva Padrona, Zuniga in Carmen, Spada Fucci Rigoletto. It goes on and on and on. Gianni Scchichi also at the Opera House. So let's welcome Ahmed Shiemy to the room. Welcome, Ahmed. Good afternoon.
Hello. How are you doing, bro?
I'm great. It's great to have our first Egyptian opera singer to talk on our live international
Introduce yourself
podcast.
as a bass profondo as well. You should introduce yourself as a remarkable bass profondo as well.
No,
It's
no,
called the
nothing,
deepest voice.
nothing compared to you, my friend. So tell us a little bit about the background of the arts. So your father was a famous stage actor. They used to call him the Julius Caesar of the National Theatre in Egypt. So your father was a stage actor in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And please tell us how that influenced your love for the stage and then how that turned into opera.
I was deeply connected to the stage from my early childhood. I found my father performing the role of Typhoon or Set, the god of evil in Isis, or the famous play written by Tawfiq al-Hakim, the great Egyptian playwright. And so I got engaged with the theater stage and even roles as well. The music by Hanish Nuda was really fascinating for me. That was haunting for my soul. It made me deeply attached to this genre, the musical theater, the musical drama. Because Isis, as a play directed by Karam Tawa, wasn't only a play, a theatrical play or an acting play. It was really like an opera, incorporating acting, music, and ballet. Of course, Karam Tawa was a great figure in theater and art in general. So that was the start. And then it moved on and on in many other plays, whether I've seen my father and his colleagues, the great actors of the National Theatre.
Your father performed in more than 150 stage plays, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
How was that seeing
Uh,
him practice or rehearse at home and reading his lines? How did that influence your love also for the stage?
yeah. The idea of being charismatic, having presence on stage, because I attended the rehearsals you used to do with great figures in Egyptian directing like Karam Mutawa, Saad Ardash, Jalal Sharawi. I attended these rehearsals, Assam Said. So this influenced my soul and my spirit and made me embracing this kind of art, which is the theater. And of course, I loved cinema as well. But actually, that's the clue of getting engaged to the theater. But I was deeply engaged with music more than acting. the very beginning. But I love the presence of the theatrical artists like Abdullah Ghis, Samih Ayoub, all the great figures, Mahmoud Yassin as well. So the idea of introducing yourself, expressing yourself, because in the theater, the character deeply emphasizes the inner monologues, the inner strife, the inner conflict that goes on in your soul and spirit. Unlike other genres of art, other medium like the television or the cinema, in the theater there is what we call, as Shakespeare named it in drama, the soliloquy, the internal monologue. You find each character is expressing itself, the deepest strife in its inner soul. So this made uh, many of or makes many of the theatrical actors more remarkable, more influencing. So I was deeply attached to this genre, to the theater. And when I entered the opera house and when I started singing on stage, I felt home. I felt home. We were together in Masrah Haya. I felt home. This is the what I felt, what I underwent from my early childhood, meeting actors, directors, the managers, people of working in the theater, everything, the place, the walls. I felt home when I started singing on stage.
And what
Mm.
was the reaction back then from your late father? Was he happy that you moved from acting?
Yes, we would start. I got stunned at the very beginning to be an opera singer, apart from acting. But actually, afterwards, he enjoyed it. He found it something special and started to tell his friends about this. It started as a hobby for some years, and then I learned professionally. And then when I traveled abroad, he was really satisfied and was gleaming and happy about that. I got a prize for performing the role of the devil, part of the role of the devil, Mephistopheles in Faust. That was in Poland. So, of course, these steps pleased him a lot.
And when you began your musical career, was it opera instantly, or was it musicals first, or maybe some pop music? Did you initially want to become an opera singer?
No, actually, frankly speaking, as I told you, I was deeply connected with music primarily. I played some piano, studied in the Faculty of Music Education Free Center, and then I entered the opera. I used to experience my voice, or experimentally my voice, as a jazz singer, singing the works of Sinatra and Dean Martin. And I entered the opera to study this stuff. I started with a class with Dr. Iman Mustafa, and Maya Gineviera was the pianist, and she was a vocal coach as well. She's from Georgia. And I found the soprano singing. I was really stunned by this human capacity and sonorous voice. Unbelievable. She was singing the aria of the Queen of the Night from Beethoven Flute or the Magic Flute by Mozart. And that was haunting for my soul. I never imagined that a human voice can reach this level of resonance and impact and this huge volume and resonance. It was the Dr. Iman Hosni. She's a teacher now, in the singer, I mean, she's taking class with Dr. Iman Mustafa, and she's a teacher in the faculty of the Oriental Music Institute. And that was the start. So I determined in mind that I should took the decision to be an opera singer. And Dr. Iman from the very beginning told me that I'm a baritone.
Yes.
uh, yes,
So, we're going to
I've been
talk
to
about
with
we'll
this.
talk about the voice types and all the different techniques soon, but let's give our audience overseas, because our audience are from Australia, America, Europe. Let's give them a bit of an idea about opera in Egypt. So opera in Egypt is quite big, isn't it? Not many people in I guess in Australia and America know how big and how important opera is in Egypt. Can you give us a little bit
Mm.
of an idea of opera in Egypt? It started in like the 1800s, didn't it?
Yes, the 1800s started with the inauguration of the Suez Canal, and Khedive asked Verdi to compose a special opera for Egypt and to present it in the ceremony. And the Rigoletto, the huge opera, was firstly performed in this event. So that was a humongous start in Egypt, the Cairo
The
Opera
Aida,
House.
the
And it
opera
went
Aida was first performed in Egypt in was it
Aida,
1890?
but actually it's Rigoletti was performed in this ceremony, the inauguration of the
Oh,
Cezh
really?
Canal.
And Rigoletto also.
Rigoletti,
Wow.
yeah. So, and of course, many composers composed great works about Egypt, like Julius Caesar in Egypt, composed by Handel. Like, of course, the Tabla Flute and the Magic Flute is written about the setting is in the temples of ancient Egypt. So, I think Egypt is connected with the opera regarding the stories made by great composers like Mozart, Handel, and Verdi. And of course, it started in Egypt. In the 60s, there was a real flourishing movement in opera uh, in Cairo Opera House, and many teachers, Russian teachers, taught Egyptian singers uh, the pillars of operatic singing and ballet dancing, and many of the great Western genres of art, the elevated art, I mean, like opera, ballet. So the pinnacles of this kind of art, opera and ballet, started so early, maybe in the 40s and 30s, and it flourished more in the 60s and went on till the 80s, when the new opera was invented and inaugurated in 1988, the National Cultural Center, the modern opera that we are singing in nowadays. So it's a long journey.
It's a long journey for Egypt and a big history for Egypt, and it's
Yeah,
also a big history for you. So
but many,
you
you
are
know,
also,
and ballet and orchestra and opera is rarely performed in many opera stages, but it's frequently uh, performed in Egypt. So some operas are performed much more in Egypt more than other countries, other European countries.
yes. So your journey also has taken you from also being a radio journalist. You're a radio broadcaster. You've been a radio broadcaster for Egypt's national radio and television, Maspero, for over 20 years, and that's an iconic building to work in also. So you have the combination of the work on the radio, and then you decided to also
And
take
radio
on.
helped me a lot in shaping my persona that made me love other genres of art like jazz and pop. I introduced pop and jazz music programs. That's made me later on invent or found the crossover team or crossover band which I sing opera beside other genres like jazz and Oriental Arabic as well. Oriental classical Arabic music performed in a classical way.
Yes, it's very interesting to be a radio broadcaster and interview a lot of artists and then also take off the headphones and also go sing yourself. It's very interesting. You can do both, and
I,
it's fantastic. So let's talk about your voice journey now. Now, it's not easy to know the voice type, especially for males. We are confused
this
between are we baritones, are we basses, are we tenors? So tell us about the journey of identifying your voice type
This
and
happened with me
how
many
that
times.
happened.
Yes, I have a dark baritone color that's made some teachers get confused about that I might be a bass or light bass, but actually it's not the case because I sang abroad some baritone roles and bass roles, and teachers and experts abroad favored the baritone color of my voice. It's more bright, it's more resonant, that can get over the orchestra. That's the idea because everyone can sing and drop his jaw and think with sing with a heavy voice, but actually cannot transcend the orchestra. The idea is how to get over the orchestra, and the resonance is the the elegant voice, the squillo comes from the head voice that can uh, get over the orchestra and be resonant and clear. So that's the voice, the brilliance of your voice, tessitura, what we call in opera the tessitura. Yes. It's
Okay.
the place where the voice shines and flourishes.
Yes. So, what is the difference between a Helden baritone or a lyric baritone, or just or just a baritone? What is the difference?
Other actually, uh, You can find the bass baritone. It was a type that was invented in the 19th century in the works of Wagner, uh, the Flying Dutchman role, and Bolton and Hans Sachs. Three roles for Wagner define the bass baritone, and this role can be sung by a high-lying bass or a low dramatic baritone. But actually, the Helden Baritone is maybe different because it refers to a dramatic, intensive kind of baritone voice who is masterful in the low register and also sonorous and heavy in the middle register and very intense in the upper range. He delivers the F, the F sharp, the G sharp in an intensive, dramatic way. So you can find the voice resonant, sonorous, powerful. So it's a kind of a heroic baritone, performing roles like Baron Scarpia in Tosca, role Orias, even some French roles suit the Helden baritone voice. The term is German, but it can suit other roles, French, Italian, Russian, whatever. For example, you can find Evgeny Onegin can be sung by a dramatic or a Helden baritone, like Varstovsky, one of the most perfect models for the Helden baritone, Dmitry Varstovsky, the great Russian. So it's a kind of a heroic, intense, metallic baritone voice. But the lyric baritone is different. It's a more flying baritone. Has got uh, the tenor legato at the top and the light uh, voice at the top, suiting some roles of bel canto, Rossini's bel canto roles, or Donizetti or Vincenzo Bellini. So you can find the lyric baritone more in these operas and these roles.
Okay, can we get an example now? Just a little sample of your voice, your amazing, beautiful voice. Just give us a small
Singing?
example. Yeah, yeah. I think you like Faust.
Many of the river roles
Okay.
can be can come to this categorized under the name of the Helden baritone. The one who named me so was Jorma Silvasti. I sang Mephistopheles from Faust in front of him, and he told me that roles like Baron Scarpia, Toreador, Scamillo suit my voice a lot. Those heroic evil roles. You have Iago. Iago is a typical model of the Helden baritone voice. Iago in Othello, composed by Verdi, and also Count Almaviva. It's a lyric role composed by Mozart, but it's dramatic in its emphasis and intense in its expression. Count Almaviva as well in Danse de Figaro by Mozart. Figaro may be having lower notes, but it's more lyrical than the Count. Uh, I can. You mean you want me to perform or sing some lines from
Just
these
just
roles?
just a couple of lines from one of the roles that you like. And before you do, just tell us the voice type first, and then tell us the name of the aria.
They are all some dramatic
Okay.
phrases from different operas.
Okay,
As I
great.
told you, you deliver a powerful, sonorous, intense. You make lines and legato lines, but with a bit of intensity and dramatic exposition. Hope it's
Fabulous.
audible enough.
Yeah, just we
That's the
we
part of.
just we just missed the last part because it was a bit too loud for the microphone, but it's nice. You want to maybe do it again? And yeah.
The last phrase.
I think the lower notes come through the microphone very nice, but the high ones disappear in the microphone.
Okay.
Try if you want to just do it one more time with not too loud, not too loud, just for the microphone.
Okay. Okay. So that's the part. You can find also the Toreador song, the Toreador of Scamillo Roll.
Very nice, amazing Ahmed Shiemy, the amazing Helden Baritone, an amazing sound all the way from Egypt. Just before you do go, so who's your favorite composer and what is your favorite opera?
I love Gounod. Uh, is an amazing French composer who tells a story through his arias. I love the aria of Orias. I sang this aria a few days ago in a concert. Uh, it's the aria of Orias trying to exhibit his love to the princess Orias. He left the desert for the sake of to captivate the heart of the princess. The aria is Sili Fidal. I love this aria. It's very heroic. It's romantic and heroic at the same time. I love it as well. I love Gounod's Mephistopheles in Faust as well. Many other French opera. Lescaut in Manon, the brother of Manon. Baron Scarpi has a fantastic role for Puccini in Tosca. Iago, I dream a lot of performing this role inspired by the Shakespearean play Othello. Iago, the evil Iago in Othello, opera composed by Verdi. And of course, Wagner. Wagner would be the greatest moment in any singer's career. If I sing Wotan one day, I'd be the luckiest singer on earth.
Yes, and you've
Because
had your
Wagner,
last.
Wagner, Wagner is never performed in Egypt, actually, unfortunately. And Wagner is the epitome of the Helden Baritone roles.
Wow. Your last couple of roles at the Cairo Opera House have been Zuniga in Carmen, the massive, huge opera Carmen, and you've also done
Yes,
Spada Fucile in Rigoletto. So tell us about preparing for the role of Zuniga. What was it like to prepare for the role?
of course. It sounds lyric in many of its lines and phrases, but there are some dramatic moments when he envies Don Jose, as we felt that Carmen is in love with him, and actually was lusting after Carmen, but he can't. And at the very end, when he had a fight with Don Jose, he told her, how Carmen would you choose the uh, a soldier and you have the officer? So that was a dilemma. So you have to express all these moments. You have to diversify your voice between the lyric moments expressing love and the strong heroic moments expressing anger, hatred, and the avenging spirit of Zuniga. Also in Spare for Chile, it's a different story because Spare for Chile is a very professional assassin. So this professional assassin, he kills with no mercy, and he's very so cool and very sure of himself, and kills so softly. And when he was asked by Rigoletto to kill the Duke, he calmed Rigoletto down and told him it's the easiest thing to do, and should never retrieve, and is capable of killing him and do whatever because he's a professional assassin. So you have to express this confidence, this mere confidence that the character is with the dramatic, intense voice and preserve the legato and in the duetto with Rigoletto, it was fantastic actually. Mm.
Famous
So you have to
duetto
think
with
of many,
Rigo.
think of many things:
There's a
the
famous
dramatic emphasis, the characterization, the legato, the vibrato, the resonance. All these factors you should be aware of, and it's very momental on stage actually.
I actually have hold on, you can say that I have the duetto of the Sparo Fucile and
Mm.
Rigoletto
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
part, and you need to sing the low the F2, isn't it, in the last phrasing.
Now you
So
are chasing, cornering me, and you are a bass performer, so it'd be easy for you, but it's okay. Hmm. Sparo fucile mio, per ignore chi sempre stessa. Sparo fucile, sparo fucile. This is why some people think that the dramatic baritone is a bass. He sounds as a bass, but
amazing.
he's not.
Yes,
Yes, because the dramatic baritone has the weight or the low register of a bass voice, but he's not a bass. Just like the Helden tenor has got the weight of a baritone, but he's a tenor, not a baritone. It's the same idea.
yes, amazing. Well, that was amazing. It sounds like a bass, definitely. It sounds like some sort of, yeah,
No, I'm not.
a high
Uh,
bass maybe, but it's a
no,
bass. It sounds like a bass. Um,
no, many.
so
You know, Baristowski used to hit the C2, the very low C.
the C2, yeah.
And yes, yes, there are some Sergei Morzaev, and I've met with Igor Denisov, uh, studied with him. He was a great Russian baritone. He's got very low and resonant notes. So it doesn't mean that he's a bass. He's still a baritone, but with low notes.
Yeah.
This helped many of the Wagnerian Puccino roles to give a dramatic emphasis, to give a weight in the character, what we call the verissimo, real character that need more dramatic emphasis and weight and intensity in expression.
Hey, we usually get when once we have our opera singers on the radio on our podcast here, we like to ask them a few of their definitions of the opera terms. So everybody has a different interpretation of what legato and say vibrato means. So can you tell us, in your opinion, what's legato for you? Legatissimo.
Legatissimo is the pinnacle or the pillar of singing, actually, because singing needs a line, needs to how to control your breath, be vibrant, expressive, and dramatic, but preserve the line. The line would give a proof of the beauty of your voice, that you have a good breath, you have a real resonant voice. So the legato, this liaison, what we call in French, this long melodic phrase uh, that carries deep inside the beauty of the voice, the nobility, the expression, the technique, and everything. So it's the epitome of the bel canto sing, the idea of singing long melodic phrases with a controllable breath, dark and resonant sound.
Wow, it's beautiful. What about the messa di voce?
Okay, no, it's another term, the messa di voce, when you sing sometimes with uh, a bit of pianissimo, not that not that forte in singing. Yes.
Let's move on to vibrato.
Yes, the vibrato. That's the idea. That's the idea of singing. When you give a vibration that epitomizes that you breathe well and releasing your voice or your singing tone the right way. So let's sing.
Yeah. What about you?
Uh,
You
should I
always
give
talk
you
about the difference between old school and new school. So can you give us a little definition of the difference between the old school, the Italian school, and the new school of singing?
uh, in Italy, I met with a maestro. Her name was Isabella Ambrosini, and she told me that the voice should be sent to the upper part of the skull, because on stage people hear the resonance of your voice. You might be having a deep voice, because when I sing in the room, it's different from singing on stage. When I sing with an orchestra, it's different from singing with the piano. So I should have, my voice should be it should transcend the orchestra, get over the orchestra. So I should. It's not an old school, but the voice should be intense and vibrant. Of course, I should release the larynx, not to put so much power on my throat. The beauty and the vibrato is something great, but at the same time, I should preserve the resonance, the squillo coming from the head voice. This makes every note audible, resonant, and impacting for the listener.
It's amazing. And let's end the
Yes.
podcast now. We've taken up a lot of your time. Yeah.
Singers use some expressions. They used to drop their jaw, but when I drop my jaw, I should be careful that the voice doesn't drop as well.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
that's the idea. That's the problem because they think, oh, I should be careful that I shouldn't go that all the time. Should make my voice in a mid stage when you are controlling or capable of or masterful of the middle range. You can go high and low from the same tessitura or the same place or the same position.
Wow.
So
And
that's
on
the
that note,
middle.
can we hear something else now before we go? We want to hear one more. Maybe something in German?
I give you a French. I got a special prize for singing this part. It's
Okay.
Mephistopheles part
Yes.
from Faust. Hope it will be audible for you and for all the listeners. Caterina che j'adore, per cuore fise, à l'amour que vous implorez, per cuore fise, ainsi d'obéser. Ainsi ton galant supplie, ainsi ton galant supplie, et ton cœur l'encroît. Nell'ora mia, che la voglio, nell'ora mia, che la voglio, che la voglio.
Wow, that was absolutely sublime, Mr. Ahmed Hashimi. Amazing sound. And our audience in America, Europe, and Australia, some of them have commented on this. It's amazing sound. They're loving the sound of it. A pleasure to have you on, my friend. Pleasure to watch you work over all these years. You've been a great
An
help to
example.
me also. Sorry?
An example of God singing, but with power and intensity as well.
That was absolutely amazing. And I'm sure everybody heard it and enjoyed it. You've been listening to Hashem's podcast with Ahmed Shiemy from Egypt at the Cairo Opera House, the amazing Helden Baritone. Thank you, everyone. I'll
Thank
see
you.
you soon. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.